Call to order the Public Improvement Commission, Thursday, June 25th, 2015. Public hearing item continued number 1 on a petition by SCD 1350 Boylston Street LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Boston proper, consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, specialty pavement, street lights, street trees, street furniture, electrical conduit, drainage infrastructure, irrigation infrastructure, and driveway curb cuts. New business, May 14, 2015. Public hearing, June 11, 2015. Boylston Street, on its southerly side, generally east of Kilmarnock Street. Kilmarnock Street, on its easterly side, generally south of Boylston Street, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repairs Plan, 1350 Boylston Street, Kilmarnock Street, Boston proper, 3 sheets dated April 29, 2015. Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Mark McGowan with Skanska Commercial Development. We'd respectfully request continuance until July 9th to allow for staff just to continue to iron out the last details of the location of the curb, but we just need a few more days to have that time.
May I ask if you are comfortable with the efforts that are being put forth to this task so that we are moving forward, or are you of the opinion, and please give some consideration before answering, whether we are taking 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards? Are you comfortable that we are making incremental...
We're coming out of that 2 steps backwards and moving forward again.
Wonderful. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to continue.
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing related to 1350 Boylston Street to July 9th, 2015.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, Mr. McGowan. Public hearing item number 1 on a petition by Old Town Team Realty LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Boston proper, consisting of the installation of new bollards. New business, June 11, 2015. Yawkey Way, on its northeasterly side, generally northwest of Van Ness Street. Van Ness Street, on its northwesterly side, generally northeast of Yawkey Way, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, Yawkey Way, Van Ness Street, Boston, 1 sheet dated June 12, 2015. Morning.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Dennis Quilty, attorney at McDermott, Quilty & Miller, representing Old Town Team Realty, which is the real estate owner of Fenway Park. And with me is Kelly Carr from Beta, who prepared the plans with us, as well as Charles Salucci, who's the director of security for the Red Sox. And as the commission knows, these are a continuing series of requests by MLB to fortify, if you will, and secure ballparks around the country. This is the 3rd of these, which we've been before the commission on. We did present 2 weeks ago and have made some minor modifications as a result of questions that came up that day, specifically around the crosswalk and ramp for accessibility purposes, and are prepared to discuss those changes here this morning.
Right. The revision we did was to just move these bollards, which were before 8 feet apart. We moved them to 6 feet to respond to the comment that a vehicle could get through that bollard. So we are keeping it 6 feet to allow for the ADA accessibility and also the configuration of the crosswalk. We also just in this plan removed the car that was on the sidewalk before.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just so the commission understands, that area is game day use by the players and staff, coaches, and the like. So there's occasionally a car on that sidewalk area during a game.
It was facing in the incorrect position, we should say.
To add to the drama, John, the day-to-day care and custody and maintenance of that sidewalk is?
Yes.
Whose is it? Thank you. So if you do decide to park in that interesting mannerism, the damage caused to the sidewalks,
Of course.
we are not going to police that, but if something happens, it will be yours, right?
City sidewalk.
Wonderful.
Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition by Old Town Team Realty LLC, making specific repairs on Yawkey Way and Van Ness Street, consisting of installation of new bollards, shown on the plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, specific repair plan for Yawkey Way and Van Ness Street, dated June 12, 2015.
Second.
All in favor? So moved. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
We were just gonna wait for the next round of dollars.
Public hearing item number 2, on a petition by CMR Prime LLC for the granting of a sidewalk cafe license for seasonal outdoor seating within Pier 4 Boulevard, South Boston, located on its southeasterly side, generally northeast of Seaport Boulevard, and consisting of seating for 25 persons and approximately 157 square feet within the public way. New business, June 11, 2015, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, License Plan, Sidewalk Cafe, 100 Pier 4 Boulevard, South Boston, one sheet dated May 28, 2015. Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. First, again, we'd like to thank Todd, Amy, and Chong for all their help so far getting us to this point. We look forward to finalizing this aspect of the project with them. Just a little bit of, my name is attorney Nick Zazula from McDermott, Quilty and Miller. Lisa Chow is from VHB. They are the engineers in the project. And just to give you a brief background, again, this is CMR Prime LLC, who is the petitioner for their new proposed restaurant to be located at 100 Pier 4. They own and operate about 25 restaurants in the United States. This will be their first location in Massachusetts. And it is a proposed seafood, steak, cocktail, high-end restaurant. The outdoor patio specifically, the proposal for the Sidewalk Cafe is to accommodate 25 patrons, approximately 331 square feet of seating area, 369 square feet including the planter space. 157 square feet of that is on public property. 212 square feet is located on private property. The outdoor patio is situated adjacent to the main entrance to the restaurant. The petitioner is in the process of fully building out the restaurant space. They hope to open this winter. As such, the Sidewalk Cafe would not be used this season, but would begin to be used next season in 2016. We do have some updates from the new business hearing, which Lisa will take you through now, if you have any questions as well.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Chow, project engineer for VHB. As Nick mentioned, we were before the commission at the June 11th new business hearing, and there were a few requests from the commission. The first request was to remove the proposed canopy from the Sidewalk Cafe plan, and it has been removed. The second request was to prepare a pedestrian level of service analysis for the Sidewalk Cafe along Pier 4 Boulevard. A pedestrian level of service analysis was prepared based on the Transportation Research Board Highway Capacity Manual and was submitted to BTD and PIC staff. There was a question regarding valet service for the restaurant. The restaurant is exploring valet service option, but at this time, the service and operator have not been selected. Once an operator has been selected, the logistics will be figured out. Are there any further questions?
Lisa, appreciate the fact that you did the pedestrian evaluation per TRB guidelines, but to the best of your knowledge, do you know whether those results are compatible with the Transportation Department's assessment for such sidewalk widths? In your opinion, what do the results say? Yay, no?
So there was no change based on the analysis. Okay.
Thank you. Next point. John, the sidewalk space is that specialty material. Okay, so they will be responsible for any disturbance of those materials if they install. Third point, sir. If in the future we are very excited with this programming of this space, but should the analysis which Lisa did is a point-in-time analysis, just want to make sure that you are aware that in years to come, if the sidewalk space is needed for more pedestrian space, this is not casted concrete or stone or whatever, you will adjust it. Is that your understanding, sir?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Just on the valet piece, it's a separate process. Obviously, the licensing goes through the off-street parking board. Obviously, we'll be very interested in, seeing how that would work with the upcoming realignment of Northern Avenue and some of the circulation. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you towards that endeavor.
Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition of CMI Prime LLC for the granting of Sidewalk Cafe with seating within Pier 4 Boulevard, South Boston, located on the southeasterly side and generally northeast of Southeast Boulevard, consisting of 25 persons, approximately 157 square feet within the public way. All are shown on plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division, license plate Sidewalk Cafe, 100 Pier 4 Boulevard, South Boston, one sheet dated May 28, 2015.
Second.
All in favor? So moved. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much.
Public hearing item number 3, on a petition by the Chinese Economic Development Council for the making of specific repairs within Oxford Street, Boston proper, located on its easterly side, generally south of Essex Street, and consisting of the installation of new bollards. New business, June 11, 2015, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, 10 Oxford Street, Boston, one sheet dated April 8, 2015. Good morning.
Good morning. I believe that we've provided everything that is required. The only thing that will be amended on the bollard drawing would be that the diameter and height of the bollard will match those that are already on the street.
Excuse me, sir, if you could be ever so kind to introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, Francis Kerwin, architect with Cha-Ming Z Architect.
Thank you. And
My name is Min Wu. I'm the acting executive director for CDC.
thank you so
Morning.
much. So since this is also a public hearing, you may want to add a few more words as to what is it that you're asking for, even though you gave all that information at the new business hearing, but this is the official public hearing.
Our case is brought to you to provide bollards in front of a new building being constructed at 10 Oxford Street in Chinatown, and a second petition to provide a canopy over the entrance that was pretty much mandated by the BRA in the design review.
The clear distance that's left is only 3 foot 9.5 inches. Is there any way to get a different type of bollard so that we get at least 4 feet?
These are shrunken bollards from New Business. So these are the smaller bollards. They are also being installed in a line of existing bollards.
And streetlights.
Yeah, and streetlights.
We're not reducing the pedestrian passable width at all.
This is not creating a new pinch point.
Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition by the Chinese Economic Development Council, the making of specific repairs within Oxford Street, Boston proper, located on its easterly side, generally south of Essex Street, and consisting of the installation of new bollards. All is shown on the plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, 10 Oxford Street, Boston, one sheet dated April 8, 2015.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Public hearing item number 4, on a petition by the Chinese Economic Development Council for the granting of a projection license for the installation of a canopy over a portion of the sidewalk within Oxford Street, Boston proper, located on its easterly side, generally south of Essex Street. New business, June 11, 2015, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, License Plan, 10 Oxford Street, Boston, one sheet dated April 8, 2015. Morning again.
Good morning. Again, it's Francis Kerwin, architect with Cha-Ming Z Architect. We're presenting to you this morning a request to install a canopy at a new construction at 10 Oxford Street. This was something that was mandated by the BRA in their design review.
Amy, what's the height of this canopy?
10 feet. Is there an elevation?
Yes, my apologies, 11 feet.
The projection is 3 feet.
Right.
And the sidewalk is approximately 4 feet, so.
It's about 5 feet,
So I guess, do we have 24 inches from the curb in?
roughly, yeah.
And new bollards.
Let's just keep it at 24 inches, so that it's meeting all close points.
Thank you.
Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition by the Chinese Economic Development Council granting a projection license on Oxford Street, described and read into the record by the chair, shown on the plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division, a license plan for 10 Oxford Street, Boston, dated April 8, 2015.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public hearing item number 5 on a petition by Crown Castle NG East LLC for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install telecommunication conduit within the following public ways in Dorchester. New business, June 11, 2015. Stoughton Street, generally southeast of Columbia Road. Columbia Road, generally southwest of Stoughton Street, as shown on a plan entitled City Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, grant of location, Crown Castle, Stoughton Street at Columbia Road, Dorchester, one sheet dated May 2015. Morning.
Good morning. My name is Bob Albee with VHB representing Crown Castle. I have with me here today is Kostya Jovanovic, who works with Crown Castle, and more specifically Richard Shepard, who is going to present on this particular issue. So I'll turn it over to Richard.
Good morning. Crown Castle, as you're aware, has an extensive network infrastructure throughout the city. And in Upham's Corner, there was a redesign and a redevelopment of that street intersection. At the request of DPW, an existing antenna node was required to be relocated, and this telecommunications conduit facilitates the new location.
Amy, has street lighting?
The details showing a new electric, 2-inch electric conduit. Who's that for?
That's to power the light. That's actually part of the petition, because the demarcation between Eversource and Crown Castle is remaining at the original handhole location. So we're extending the power from the original location to the new location.
So is it
Our street light.
which are out in city?
City street light is the power.
We should, we should label it a city street light instead of just electrical.
Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition of Crown Castle NG East LLC for grant location of lead company status with no participants to install telecommunication conduit within Stoughton Street and Columbia Road, all shown on plan title City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division. Grant location, Crown Castle, Stoughton Street, Columbia Road, Dorchester, 12th Street, dated May 2015.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Public hearing item number 6 on a on a petition by Crown Castle NG East LLC to amend a grant of location to install relocated telecommunication infrastructure on a replacement streetlight pole within Stoughton Street, Dorchester, located on its southwesterly side, generally southeast of Columbia Road. New business, June 11, 2015, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, amended grant of location, Crown Castle, Stoughton Street at Columbia Road, Dorchester, one sheet dated May 2015. Good morning again.
Good morning again, Commissioners. My name is Richard Shepard from Crown Castle. Similar to the previous petition, this is the petition to amend the location of the antenna on a city-owned streetlight.
Proceed. You're proceeding.
Again, just to confirm, you spoke to Glenn Cooper in the Public
Yes.
Works Street Lighting Group?
Yes.
They were doing some LED work down there this weekend, so I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
When will you be doing the digging?
The digging was done ahead of
Okay,
time.
right, so it's not going to impact Katie Close.
There-
Correct.
Correct.
Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the petition by Crown Castle NG East LLC to amend the grant of location to install relocated telecommunication infrastructure on a replacement streetlight pole as read into the record by the chair and as shown on the plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, amended grant of location, Crown Castle, Stoughton Street at Columbia Road, Dorchester, 1 Street, dated May 2015.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. First item of new business, Main Street, Charlestown, grant of location on a petition by Crown Castle NG East LLC. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Richard Shepard from Crown Castle, Project Manager. As you are aware, Crown Castle is currently expanding their network throughout the city. Originally, on December 18th, we had petitioned for 12 new locations in the city of Charlestown. One particular location, it was discovered at a later date, was on private property on Hathon Square. In order to facilitate that location, we've relocated the proposed antenna to a city-owned streetlight directly across from Hathon Square on Main Street.
Will 2 weeks be enough time? Okay, we'll see you on July 9th for a public hearing.
Thank you.
Second item of new business, West Broadway, Dorchester Street, C Street, D Street, East 4th Street, Woodward Street, South Boston, grants of location on a set of petitions by Crown Castle NG East LLC.
For this particular item, they were in COBUCS for 2016 to make all of these connections. We want to pave tomorrow and have asked them to accelerate this to now. So they're here with an attempt to get all of their infrastructure in the ground before the Public Works repaving of this area.
She just gave my entire presentation. But by way of background on this, NextG Networks, the introduction of DAS antennas came in 2007, and since then, under NextG Networks, we've installed, I think, over 400 in the city of Boston, whether they're on wood poles or on swappable poles. Crown Castle acquired NextG in 2012, thereabouts, on a program to expand the DAS footprint wherever needed in the city. That turned out to be remarkably successful. As part of that expansion, South Boston was to get enhanced service in 2016 with the addition of 46 nodes, most of these occurring in the new Seaport District, the new Fort Point District, and a lot of them in the current residential, the older residential areas. That was programmed for 2016. It was appropriately put into the COBUX program, and very appropriately enough, when Mark got his program put together, we found that we had 9 conflicts with the 2015 paving program. So we have been back against the wall trying to pull these 9 out of our 2016 program to get in front of Mark's 2015 program. So that is to say, we do not have all our homework done as we usually do when we come in for the preliminary hearing of the new business hearing. And where we stand with that is, first of all, in the sewer and water reviews, we are immediately collecting all the inventory plans from the utility companies. They're coming in slow because of vacation season and because of the extreme development going on all over the city, but they are coming in. We are putting them on the maps. Our goal is to get them to sewer and water in time to get a review, hopefully by the July 9th session, just for these 9 in particular. We have sent out notices to the utility companies as is required by PIC. We expect to have all those notices back, anticipating that these are all small cuts, under 100 feet, most of them even under 50 feet. They probably will not have too much impact on other utilities, hopefully including sewer and water. So it's a fairly small job, and it consists of 2 4-inch conduits from the Verizon manhole to the pole, one of which is for city shadow. That's basically where we stand. We'll do some traffic management plans too when we have a better idea of when we're going to be out there, and we'll run them by the transportation department. But we do recognize that we haven't fulfilled all our obligations for the first hearing, but would like to move this so we can get to a final hearing and see what we have to do to get these built before we have to either abandon the project or recut it afterwards, which nobody wants to do.
Couple of quick questions. Bob, are all these locations locations that are in conflict with the city's paving program, or are there a few in here that is not part of the conflict?
These 9 are all in conflict,
Okay.
every one of
So
them.
whatever you do over here, the city will come and make it clean. Second thing, you mentioned that Crown Castle has acquired the assets of NextG. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. Chong, have we updated all our prior agreements on the NextG, all our LMIs, so that if I pull an agreement that says NextG, that there's a Crown Castle letter or some document that is stable to it?
Yes.
Or if not, Chong, could you please make sure that the appropriate paperwork is attached to all the prior NextG LMIs or any of the documents which we have? Okay, thank you.
So we have a small dig being performed by your company, but we also have an electrical dig by others.
That'll be, I was going to say Edison, I'm dating myself. That would be Eversource. And they are currently working on it, and they're trying to meet our schedule also.
So they would come with an electrical cut that gets approved administratively through plans that circle through the city departments. So that should be happening concurrently as these guys work towards their public hearing.
So we have to have a commitment from Eversource.
Well, they're gonna come to us with plans for that dig, yeah.
So I've seen many of those meetings with Mr. Cottarelli, and you have been working through the process, so hopefully the paperwork is in order.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the COBUX system worked extremely well in this case, extremely well.
Good.
My credit to him.
Is 2 weeks enough?
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah, that's
This one question, I mean, we just had water and sewer out on West Broadway in this area, Dorchester Street, and they just put a final restoration in on that street. I mean,
I think what's going on out there right now, and I was out there a week ago, so I may not be up to date, but I think he was repairing the trenches.
Susie just paved the whole thing.
Oh,
He
you?
paved Broadway, West Broadway, and he paved A Street.
Okay, my assumption, and I have to use the word assumption, so I don't have the plans in front of me. We've been coordinating with them, so I think the conflicting sites are
Just
probably...
take a look. I mean, just believe me, for what those businesses and everybody has gone through right now and what's gone in out there, it's
So, to echo what Mr. Hedsworth is saying, and since you totally understand what we are going to be asking you, if for some reason the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing, and if the street is paved, would you still cut?
Eventually, it would not have to be done immediately.
Yes, okay, but that eventuality needs to be
Yes.
thought through because the neighborhood has gone through some trying experiences.
Right.
So it will be completely unfair for whatever the reason for any party to cut it just after it has been paid. So again, improve those communications and coordinations to ensure that there's accurate information being submitted to this commission because we are relying on you stating that it has all been done. So it concerns us to what Commissioner Esworth is stating. Okay?
It's our understanding that the portion from West Broadway to Dorchester Street and then south of West Broadway down Dorchester Street has not been done yet, but
Richard, punchline, please don't cut a street that has been paid. Okay? If that happens, it will be extremely awkward.
So we'll see you in 2 weeks for a public hearing.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Third item of new business, 141 West 2nd Street, Bolton Street, South Boston, specific repairs on a petition by Spice Lofts LLC. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, board members. For the record, my name is Steve DeRoche from the Ponset Valley Survey Associates with our offices at 95 White Street in the city of Quincy. I'm here this morning to represent my client, Mr. Colin Shea, who would like to develop a parking lot to the rear of number 141 West 2nd Street on land currently owned, I believe, by Thomas Fitzgerald. The parcel is a little over 3,000 square feet. We're proposing an 8-car parking lot with access to the parking lot off of West 2nd Street and an egress from the parking lot onto Bolton Street. And there's the crux to the reason we're here today. It appears that a certain portion of Bolton Street has been either discontinued or not used anymore, and we just cannot find the records. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to extend a portion of Bolton Street to the north or to the northwest, about 20 to 25 feet, put in new curbing, and then the access drive for the egress drive for the proposed parking lot.
Steve,
yes.
if I may ask for the benefit of the commission members and me, on that drawing, can you show us the extension to which you are extending Bolton Street?
Well, we're extending the physical street, yes.
Yes. But can you show on the drawings?
Where it ends today and where it's gonna end when you're done.
It's right there.
So today where is the, you said you are extending it, meaning that there's a certain condition today and you want to improve it or extend it. Can you show that?
Yeah, again, the current street, the physical street with curbing ends at the back of the building.
That's the point.
Okay, and what we want to do is extend it up about 20 to 25 feet and put a driveway in here or an egress for the parking lot coming up to cars onto Bolton Street.
Is there in East Bolton one of the commission streets? Yes. Right. What is the condition of the sidewalks and the rest of?
Oh, they're pretty decent.
Okay. So when you're extending it, the rest of Bolton Street, the sidewalks, curbs, whatever, is in fairly decent condition so that this additional pedestrian and or vehicular traffic is not going to experience anything uncomfortable?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've been before the community with this, and the community representative. Nobody seemed to have any complaints. The question came out, we're going to do this for you, what are you going to do for us? I said, we put a swing set in or something if you like.
You are doing the right thing, that's what.
Yeah.
You're moving the hydrant to the curb cut, but you're moving it across the street.
Correct. It's been approved by the commission.
Okay. What's across the street?
Nothing. Basically vacant land over there, I believe.
There's no residences over there.
I believe it's a playground.
It's a playground.
Yeah.
Playground. Okay, that's fine.
But we do have an approved drawing for the
Yeah, I just want to
shoreline
make sure
commission.
there's no,
No, there will not be a future.
thank you.
You're showing a proposed stop sign. Have you done a warrant analysis for the stop sign?
Yes, that is one of the things, thank you, Mr. Hesford. One of the things that I wanted to mention, the community was hoping to have some sort of a calming action with these cars coming in and out. They suggested speed bumps, with a speed bump in the parking lot, just as you come in off of West 2nd Street, and then another one down at the intersection of Bolton and B Street, actually onto Bolton Street, so that a car would have to kind of stop, go over the speed bump and stop at the stop sign. Because evidently there is a lot of pedestrian traffic there and it's difficult to see. So again, that's just a suggestion. I'm throwing it
Well,
out.
but if you're going to install a stop sign, it has to meet federal warrants. So has a warrant analysis been done on the proposed stop sign?
I'm sorry?
Any stop sign installation has to meet federal warrant.
Okay.
Has a warrant analysis been done for the stop sign?
No, there's been no analysis.
So if you're proposing it, you need to provide it.
Yeah, because Steve, you can't, it is not.
You want to remove the stop sign from this plans and work with BTD about any
Okay.
future
You may-
signage?
You may
calming?
want to have the stop sign there. If it meets the warrants and it's an, an enhancement, that's fine. But if you're going to propose it, you need to provide the analysis.
Okay, all right.
You just can't put one because it's like a good idea.
I can talk to Todd about that. Yeah.
The speed bumps on your property, knock yourself out, you can put as many, not in the city street, okay?
Yeah. See, one of the problems I have there today, I guess, is this traffic coming up the street here tends to turn around and go up B Street. And other people feel that if this parking lot gets built, that the people are just gonna come up, go into the lot, and then back out onto Bolton and off to B Street. And they just want to try to make it as difficult as possible for people to do that.
So is there thought about having any type of gated key card access to the lot? Right?
That's a possibility, yeah.
That will eliminate that concern.
Right.
Because these are all going to be bought spaces. People are going to own these spaces, so it's
So
going to
maybe it
be.
makes sense to have it a gated access.
Yeah, it probably would, yeah.
Probably, trash, people drop.
But again, we're here just to get whatever the board wants.
Just give me an idea. So
Yes, because those are operational needs, operational requirements that are solely within your responsibility that can improve the totality of what is being considered by the commission. We can't demand it from you, but as the commissioner is stating, strongly suggesting it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so you represent Thomas Fitzgerald?
I'm sorry,
Who
Commissioner?
do you represent, Thomas Fitzgerald?
I'm representing Colin Shea. He's got a P&S agreement with Mr. Fitzgerald to purchase his property.
All right, so basically there's three other abutters, the City of Boston, the Commonwealth, the Transportation Department, and what owns this warehouse?
The railroad.
The railroad?
The railroad. The railroad is the abutter to the northwest.
All right, have you contacted them at all?
This is already a street, so they're actually performing already approved improvements, and the only new portions of this are his own driveways, because we have already laid that street out with those sidewalks. It's just never been constructed.
We also have a fence going across the
Yes,
over street.
yes, right.
A portion of Bolton Street was discontinued previously because it just drops off, and I believe it's the Hall Road that is just beyond what is the end of Bolton Street here.
Okay, but my point is if we're going to extend that street, let's notify the other parties to see if they want to extend it even further. The Transportation Department wants to extend it another 20 feet, then we should give them an opportunity while we're doing this construction. So we should have notifications to
Yeah.
the abutters.
We'll have them send registered mail to all the butters.
Where are you with the permitting for your parking? Have you said, what are use of premise for the parking yet?
Well, not until we get the access approved. We can't go for any kind of a permits for it.
It's always the cart before the horse, it's who's gonna put the first application in?
We've been working on this for over a year now, so I don't.
Light at the end of the tunnel. Right? Little more work to do, but will 2 weeks be enough
Yeah.
time? Okay, we'll see you on July 9th for a public hearing.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much, folks. Thank you.
Fourth item of new business, Marginal Street, East Boston, specific repairs on a petition by Portside 56 LLC.
Good morning, Mr. Commissioner, members of the commission. My name is Joseph Shea. I'm with Roseland. We are the developer of Portside at East Pier. With me today is Robert Crucial, who is our civil engineer from Hancock Associates, as well as Lydia Housley from Fort Point Associates. We were before you about 2 years ago when we were seeking permission relative to our first building, which has been completed. And I thought I might just give you a little bit of context to show where everything is. Again, this is East Boston. The first building that we completed is this building here located at the corner of Lewis Street and Marginal Street. And our next two buildings, which is the reason why we're here today, are the buildings that are located at the end of South Bremen Street here and Marshall Street and the Greenway across. The land is all owned by Massport. We're on a ground lease with Massport, and we've extended South Bremen Street on this side and into our land area, as well as creating a new street waterfront way across. So those are private streets that are on Massport land. For buildings, the next two buildings will also be extending across again, and will be at the corner of Orleans Street. This is the East Boston Greenway, which comes down and kind of swoops across here. We'll be connecting the Greenway through our property to provide access all the way down to the waterfront. We're making improvements in the area of South Bremen Street here. We'll be going along the Marginal Street extension, which is not open to vehicular traffic, which is really just pedestrians along the Greenway, and we'll be on this corner of Orleans Street too. I'd like to turn it over to Bob Crucial and let him describe the improvements that we'll be doing. Thank you.
Break up the improvements. I'll break up the improvements in four parts. They'll be in the public space of the travelway and Marginal at South Bremen. They'll be in the non-traffic areas of the public space of Marginal, which is actually the front of the park that's located here. In the portion of the discontinued piece of Marginal, and it will be in public space of Orleans Street at Marginal. Starting from the west going east, we have a crosswalk with a standard Boston, City Boston, Sesame curb ramp here, and a crosswalk, and a reciprocal ramp on the other side is being made compliant, substituting the yellow detectable warning strip for a district right now is gray. New sidewalk will be built over what is now asphalt pavement. This will be the front of the entrance of the park here. As part of that work, there will be a new number 13 Boston water and sewer catch basin constructed at this location. The front of the park entrance will be modified. More green space created for gas, cutting out the existing sidewalk a bit, and coordination with the park department. Removal of some bollards that are located right here, following the chain fence. Reconstruction for grading purposes of the current walkway that's here. The existing walkway will be retained for this portion. And then in the discontinued area of Marshall Street, this portion of the existing sidewalk will be reconstructed for grading reasons to make it a more gentle slope. The greenway path will be from the center of the park through this area, and then through a new walkway we're constructing for the line. Eventually, we'll connect to the development. In Orleans Street public space, there's an existing access to park maintenance in here. Parks has asked us to make that a mountable curb. So we're going to put a mountable curb here with two curb corners, granite curb corners. Reconstructing concrete sidewalk, the existing sidewalk and butter parking right at this location.
We're going to reconfigure the crosswalk, which currently goes from a ramp here at the corner. It goes to this area, which right now is not really formed. So we think this is inappropriate to put it at this location. Also, we've been asked to put a mounted curb here. So relocating that to the new standard accessible curb cut ramp right here. And we're reconstructing the sidewalk for the park. It's a sidewalk all the way to our lot line here, putting in a typical DPW apron type rate sidewalk driveway at this location. And we're also constructing utility connections for sewer from the existing stub in Marginal, and water for a water loop from the existing stub in Marginal. And at the request of Boston Water and Sewer, we're putting in a new line at this location. Just to give you an idea of what our development here is, this is building 5 that we call it here. This is building 6. And this is building 7, which now exists in construction. This is our walk, which eventually will link the greenway through an area between our buildings to the harbor. And these are the various building entrances at the rear of 5, building entrances at the rear of 6, and various plant walls along the building located here. We've shown grading to maintain a proper crown in the location of Orleans at Marshall. Right now, this is not appropriate to crown, it's not appropriate gutter, so we're reforming that in the proper drainage. I'm sorry, this is Orleans at Marshall here, and this is the park entrance at South Brennan. And we're making sure that the running slopes are less than 5, cross slopes are less than 2.
The South Brennan Street extension now, it's going to be a private road, it's going to be on state property. Has anyone reviewed that? Has the fire department reviewed it for access to your building?
Yes. Massport Fire, we have applied for a building permit for the next 2 buildings. Massport Fire has reviewed all of the documents, all the access points, and they've approved what we submitted.
So this is a ground lease to you?
Correct.
All right. And so would you consider it as a private building or a state building?
It's private.
It's a private building, and you have to get permitted through the city of Boston.
Well, it's on Massport land, and I know there's...
It's a long-term lease. If they're not going to maintain part ownership of that building, then it's permitted through the city of Boston.
Well, they own the land, and they'll be receiving rent from us under the ground lease, for the period of the ground lease.
They have to own part of the building. That's the agreement with Massport.
Okay. Well, I'm sort of in the middle here, so it's, I know it's a Massport City issue, so.
So why don't you call up the attorneys from Massport and ask them, tell them that you were at this commission and you were asked the question whether or not they were going to own part of the building.
Okay.
And you said no. So if they're not going to own part of the building, then you have to get permitted through the city of Boston, which means we want to see the Boston Fire Department do the plans, not Massport. Is Massport going to?
It's like we've gone through the Article 80 process with the BRA.
Okay, that's good. I'm not talking about the Article 80 process. I'm talking about the actual building permit.
No, it's a state building permit.
All right, then.
So we've already.
I'm telling you to go back to the Massport attorneys and tell them that at this hearing, you were asked the question of whether or not Massport was going to own part of the building, and you said no.
Right.
So the agreement with Massport is if they're not going to own part of the building, permitting is with the city of Boston.
Well, if I can, if I may, our first building, which is now completed, was permitted with a state building permit.
Well, then if it's the same situation, don't get a problem.
Well, it's...
It all goes by ownership. So go back to the attorneys. I'm going to recommend, this issue is going to get resolved in 2 weeks, I don't think.
separate contractor? What Chapter 91 permit requirements do you have? What Chapter 91?
All of our Chapter 91 requirements, we have certain requirements relative to the height of the buildings and also for open space and for...
Open space funds.
Yes.
I'm concerned about the open space funds, and because the city was planning, and I'm not sure, maybe running ferries or shuttle. I'm not sure whether it is from this area what BRA was trying to do, and if so, and what Chapter 91 permits you have in terms of waterfront street activation, whether any of those are playing into how does someone access through this path.
Right.
Because one has to go through private property that is open to whoever,
Yeah.
managed by Massport
Yeah.
onto city areas. So maybe can you find out?
Well, our Chapter 91 license is for the entire project for 7 buildings. It's not just for one building at a time.
This is where the docket area is, right? I mean, if you have the schematic which you had earlier,
Yeah.
see the little boats that are attached?
I'm sorry?
The boats. The little boats.
The boats, okay.
There. Okay, so get to those boats. How does someone park? Where does a city person or someone, where do they park if they want to access that waterfront?
Okay.
So these are concerns which the transportation department may have in activating that space, especially with the greenway coming through there.
Right.
So it's good stuff. We just need to figure out where those details.
Yeah, if I may, what we've done to date, and part of our obligation under Chapter 91 was to provide a water taxi stop, and we've done that at the end of Lewis Street. That dock has been installed and it's operable, and it has been ever since November of 2014. The pier itself it has been, historically was a maritime industrial pier with uses out there for tugboats and various uses like that. There is one boat out there now. Massport still has control over the pier. Our ground lease covers all of this, but we are not building on the pier yet. That's the last phase of this project. We're required under Chapter 91 to provide an working apron of 22 feet around the perimeter of the pier for maritime industrial, and that is available. It is still there. Again, waterfront, as far as water transportation, we've completed our requirement for water transportation. At this point, once we get to the pier, there's a requirement for another water taxi stop on this side. And when we do buildings 5 and 6 here, we're required to provide this public landing right here in front, which is a kind of stop and go for and general public to come to.
So any person who is using those waterfront shuttle locations,
Okay.
they need to be able to walk in a safe, lit manner from within your properties, which are being managed by Massport for public safety concerns, through your properties onto city space. Okay, so you need to know that someone is state police
Well, jurisdictionally wise, on their property, that definitely will be the Massport Police, as
Right.
in the Piers Park, it goes down the
Correct.
street. However, we have permitted through the Article 80 with the TAPA agreement for the first building, Phase 1, Wood Crenshaw, with a construction management plan. I haven't seen anything for Phase 2 for what you're talking about, as far as who's gonna be the general contractor. Have they submitted a construction management plan for Phase 2? I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. The construction management plan was submitted. It's the same management plan that we've used for the first
You
building.
can't, you're coming off of Orleans, that wasn't the way you were coming in the other way. I have not seen Phase 2 construction management plan.
Okay.
That needs to be submitted to the department.
Okay.
The TAPA agreement for Phase 2,
Yep.
these buildings.
Right.
Originally, there was a TAPA agreement for the Lewis Street side.
Yeah,
Where are we with the TAPA agreement for
Okay.
the subsequent?
The TAPA agreement was for the entire project.
No, that
Yes,
was
it was.
That was a master plan. Each building requires a separate and distinct TAPA agreement.
Well, we have a TAPA agreement that was for the entire development for
Again,
Portside.
Gary, this gets back to the point.
Well,
The point being is, you have a master that in some concept was agreed upon. Each one of those buildings requires a TAPA.
Well,
We can discuss that.
I beg to differ, but our agreement is for the entire project, and we completed our TAPA mitigation.
You just said you didn't need one for the construction management plan either, but that's not correct.
Well,
We can discuss that later.
Okay.
This is new business, that's why we,
No, that's great, that's fine. No, in all due respect, we're here, and we'll respond to whatever questions there are, and that's and that's helpful. Okay.
I just had a couple of questions about, not about the specific repairs, they're fine. The ownership of the street on Long Marginal Street, where there's a discontinued area, and then there's an area where there's now the green space. Who owns the street now? Or who's gonna, is that still a public street for the green space, and who owns the?
So half of it has been discontinued and a half of it is still Marginal Street. And they're coming through both pieces of it. So we have a stub end of Marginal Street, a gap, and then it begins again.
All right, who owns the gap?
I believe the city does.
Yeah. I think that
Okay,
it's,
the discontinued portion, who owns that?
that's the city. It's our Parks Department.
So the Parks Department?
Yes.
Okay, so none of the property out there in the street, or what was Marginal Street or that green space, is owned by the developer? None of it? None of it, okay. So
Right.
it's all either owned by...
Right, so like the mountable curb requests and all of that stuff are coming from the Parks Department to get their vehicles in there.
That's where the confusion was on the plan. So it's either Public Works or Parks that owns
Right.
the rest of the street?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
A couple of items to work through in the next 4 weeks. Would 2 weeks be enough time for a public hearing?
Sure.
Okay.
So,
And I know Mr. Hesford's looking for some stuff, and as well as Mr. Moshe. So I'd ask that you expedite that stuff.
If you wanna request a month, you can have a month now, instead of coming back in 2 weeks.
all right, well, let's do a month, because it may take a little time just to resolve
Sure.
those two issues.
All right. We'll see you on the July 23rd for a public hearing.
Okay, sounds good. All right, well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
your time. Appreciate it.
Fifth item of new business, Franklin Street, Boston proper, widening and relocation on a joint petition by the Boston Redevelopment Authority and the City of Boston Public Works Department.
So for this particular action, we have a layout for Franklin Street that used to run along what's going to be this new Millennium Tower that is still a street line today. It functions like Shoppers Park, but it is still a street. We skewed Franklin Street to the side. That's the Franklin Street that you see and drive on today. That creates a Y. There's a triangle in the middle of that Y. It's owned by the BRA. The purpose of this action is to make that entire thing Franklin Street. The BRA is going to convey the underlying fee to the city. That from the Franklin Tower to essentially the Marshalls on the opposite side will all be Franklin Street, and then we'll hear actions to discontinue an MBTA head house and for the Shoppers Park specific repairs, once this is all one street and under the jurisdiction of this commission.
Is being worked through the commission to be given to...
It is being brought to the commission. Public Works owns both Franklin Streets. BRA owns the center. We're getting the center and have one Franklin Street right-of-way for future actions that will be presented by Millennium.
So we want to widen the old Franklin Street to include the Y.
Yes. Right.
So that would be all Franklin Street and then owned by the BRA?
Right.
But then I'm going to And then later you'll do something else.
So all of that, all of Shoppers Park will be within a right-of-way of Franklin Street that we own.
how about the MBTA board?
The MBTA will come back with separate discontinuances once we've made this a whole street for their new head houses that are going on as a part of this project.
So this vote, won't include that? Or as we move along with this?
So this vote has portions of property that already have the MBTA in it, and then there's portions of property where the MBTA is on BRA land. MBTA will be completely within city property by the end of this in its existing condition, and then we'll have future actions to put the MBTA in its final condition as part of the Millennium Tower project.
Can I say something, Commissioners? I am actually transferring everything except the T. I've exempted that out of the taking, so you'll get everything that the T isn't in presently.
Right, and then we'll take away what the T is going to be in the future.
May not be an appropriate question for me to ask, but is there a tacit understanding that this action will not force, that's a poor choice of words, but once the road gets to be all public works, is there a tacit implied understanding with Millennium Partners that we will discontinue?
The only thing that we'll be discontinuing in the future is the future location of the MBTA head house. We're not discontinuing anything on behalf of Millennium in the future.
So it is just the MBTA?
Correct.
So it's with another governmental agency?
Correct.
I guess the question would be, why are we doing this now?
We're doing this now because in order for us to take future actions with the MBTA head house, it's going to straddle the line and be in this weird no man's land that the BRA owns. So we're creating one ownership, and then we'll remove everything out to get rid of the mess that exists there.
So all the permitting now will go from the BRA for that area to the city?
Well, there was no permitting. It was just kind of the way things were.
I know there's current permits out there.
Right, yeah, so we,
For Kathy's
right,
project.
there's agreements right now that go between the building, the MBTA, the BRA, and the city, and we're trying to get the BRA out of the mix.
But this won't affect any current permitting,
Correct,
even for construction?
correct.
Correct.
Right, because the BRA hasn't been issuing any permits.
Well, they're gonna have to, the square footage is gonna change now.
Right.
Ann's gonna get a bigger check now, right?
Yes.
I'd like to leave.
Will 2 weeks be enough time?
I think so.
We will see you on July 9th for a public hearing.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.